All right, we are going to fill out the elements of art chart together. And the first one element is line. So in this box, you should have a picture of different kinds of lines. So one type would be swirly. We could do a zigzag line. We can do a straight line. There's a whole bunch of different kind of lines. Wavy. So adjectives that would describe line would be maybe what I was saying, curvy, wavy lines. Adjective just means a descriptive word for the term. So we have swirly. Okay. So let's go to, and also page 8. We have line on page 8. It shows you a bunch of different kind of lines as well. All right, page 8 will help you out. And then, so let's go to shape. Shapes are 2D, which means flat. All right, so 2D flat, you can have geometric and organic. All right, and geometric are regular, which any shape with a name is a regular shape, which means geometric. So we have shapes with names like triangle, circle, square, rectangle. You can do any of those. All right. As long as you have one picture to remember what the term means, that's fine. Organic shapes are irregular. That means they don't have names and they are kind of blobby. Okay. All right, so adjectives would be what I wrote up here. Flat, blobby. You can name a organic shape and a geometric if you want to. That would be organic or regular, triangle would be geometric. I would just put flat because flat is a good adjective for shape. Okay, let's go to form. All right, form is 3D. I'm just gonna describe it down here, 3D object. All right, so that means it has form, it's 3D. So we have geometric and we have organic, except it's 3D instead of 2D. So what this would look like, regular. Remember, regular is geometric. So this would now be 3D. Now a triangle would turn into a pyramid, a circle would turn into a sphere, and let's see, a square would turn into a cube, and so forth. All right, irregular would be blobby. So you could either make this look 3D by putting like some pouches in it, like that sticks out, or you can actually make it, have some volume to it, have another dimension to it, like that. If you did a cloud, you can do the same thing. Or this could be a rock. Again, you can always add like a diagonal line and kind of add that dimension to it right there. Trees would also be, anything in nature is pretty much organic. As long as you have shading, it'll look three-dimensional, okay? All right, let's go to texture. Texture is like surface quality. I'm gonna write for the adjective, surface, feeling. Surface quality, surface feeling. So texture would be dots repeated or lines repeated to make a surface look rough. It could be like this could be water texture waves, you know, it could be wavy. That looks more like spikes. So spiky, wavy, this might be grassy or hairy. All right, so whenever you repeat dots or lines, you create a texture. You can't feel it, but it looks like you can feel it. It looks rough or wavy and stuff like that. All right, let's go to color. All right, so the things you need to know about color: warm, cool. These colors are on one side of the color wheel. So we have yellow, orange, and red are warm. And those are fire and sun colors. Fire and sun are warm or hot. And then cool colors are land colors, which are blue, green, and purple. All right, so down here, you could write cool and warm, and also bright or dark. Any of these would be correct. So any descriptive words that you can describe color. We have complementary, colors across from each other. I'm just gonna write across. And let's just do two more terms. One is primary and secondary. All right, the primary colors are red, blue, purple. Ha! That is hilarious. I hope you guys caught that. Red, blue, yellow. All right, so then we have the secondary colors, which blue and yellow makes green. All right, red and yellow make orange. And then red and blue make purple. Okay, so primary, red, yellow, blue, and then secondary will be green, orange, purple. Okay, and then so we'll work a lot with color when we get into our painting unit. Okay, value. There we go. Value is just lights and darks, so we're gonna make a value scale and just go light to dark and get as dark as you can go with your pencil. All right, and then adjectives would be lights and darks. And the last term, space. Okay, adjectives for space would be depth. All right, so depth can be for like foreground versus background. All right, so I'm going to divide this into 4 different spaces because there's 4 ways to show space. All right, so one is overlapping. Overlap. So when you have something in front, and let's say you have it go back in space. Okay, this is further back in space. You do not see the other point of that triangle. Okay, let's have something else overlap. This circle is behind those shapes. There's another circle behind that and another circle behind that. These are overlapping. So whenever something overlaps, something's in front and something's behind. That shows depth. Okay? All right, the other way to show space is anything 3D because it shows depth. This part is the depth right here. So this would be flat, but now it has depth because it's 3D. All right, and then the other one, we have diagonal lines. that go back. This is more when you have a horizon line and, you know, a landscape. We have diagonal lines maybe, and I'm just gonna write diagonal lines. If you look out my art room window, you'll see diagonal lines of the parking lot, and it'll go back to the back of the landscape. Let's say this is a road. All right, so maybe this is grass. These lines would be bigger, getting smaller. But anyway, in landscapes, you often have diagonal lines. And that is the same with size. You can see how the smaller lines in the background getting bigger. So size is the next one. Bigger in the foreground. So I'm just going to use like that same example. The road gets smaller as it goes into the background, big lines, and then maybe this sphere on the road would be that big, and over here it would be smaller. So smaller in the background, and over here it would be tiny. All right, so size, smaller in the background. And that completes our elements of our chart.